Welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, David Haas. Thanks for taking the time to tune in and listen. Every week on the podcast, I'm basically just giving you the tips that I've implemented through the process of continued learning and spiritual growth that have helped improve my life, that helped improve the lives of my clients. You're tuning in here. It's kind of like getting free coaching. If you take the time to implement the things that are talked about on the podcast, they can have like really dramatic improvements in your life. The thing about success in any area of your life, and I don't even like using the word success because there's just so much associated with that word, money and all that. But when I say success, and I'm going to find a new word for it, but when I say success, ultimately what I'm talking about is, happiness, freedom, love, connection, money, abundance. These types of things go along with that. But it's just about maximizing our potential, living our best life, feeling fulfilled. This is the definition of success to me. Ultimately, I feel like I'm living my best when I'm giving the most and I'm being productive and I'm moving forward. I'm not feeling the pressure to move forward, but I'm moving forward, if that makes sense. One of the things I've struggled with for the better part of my life is energy levels. I think I've gotten a lot better in the last 3 or 4 years, but it's still an issue, I would say. I still find myself looking out there for the solution. And when I say looking out there, it would be, well, it's not coffee for me, but for other people, it would be coffee. For mine, it's like caffeine, drinks, sugar is where I feel like there's energy. And because of that, I have experienced in my life dramatic swings in energy up and down where I can be, on the highest of the highs and then on the lowest of the lows where I can barely keep my eyes open and, sitting on my computer and bobbing my head. So I wanted to just get a little bit deeper into discussion because usually when we talk about energy, we're talking about the physical. What are you putting in your body? How much exercise are you doing? And 100% that's an element. Like that is for sure an element. But I like to focus on what's critical and try and get to the roots of what's really going on. And, I would say the root of the issue with lack of energy is a lack of purpose, a lack of fulfillment. So that would be tip one is to define your purpose. Try and get as clear as you possibly can on what it is that you want to do with your time on this planet. And this isn't about, like I say, about making money. It's about look, really, what do you want to do? What's going to make you the most happy? What did you love to do as a kid? What was the thing that you said you wanted to do when you grew up before you started getting all these programs put into your head about how much money you had to make and what kind of lifestyle you were going to live? Like, what was it you wanted to do before anyone told you that you needed to make a certain amount of money or you needed to get more, you needed to do more, be more, these types of things. So try and tune into that. Or use the lottery experiment where you imagine that you've won $100 million in the lottery and then just go through everything that you would do. And after you've done everything that you've ever wanted to do, you've bought all the things you've ever wanted to buy, now what are you going to do? All your financial needs are met. All your material needs are met. Now what are you going to do? And if you start answering those questions, you can start getting aligned with what it is that you want to do on this planet with your time on this earth. And when you feel connected to your purpose, it gives you energy. It's literally that simple. When you feel like you're living your life's purpose, it's easy to get out of bed every day. You're excited to get out of bed. You're excited to go to work. You're excited to help people. You're excited to fulfill your potential. Okay. So, but it's really hard to do this if we're not aligned with what it is that we really want to do. So you can see the importance of doing these exercises. Like if you can get aligned with what it is you really want to do, man, you'll have energy for your life, not hours, but you'll be able to have energy throughout the course of your day. So, I feel like I'm really aligned with what it is that I'm supposed to do on this planet, which is to help people through the process of coaching. And that has changed. The model has changed. When I first got into coaching, it was one-on-one. Now it's becoming more group. I'm in the process of opening up a retreat center. So It's just changing, but the purpose is the same, which is help people, give back as much as I possibly can. And that gives me energy. And yeah, there's days still that I have lack of energy where I'm not feeling it as much, but most of the time I'm feeling pretty energetic and I feel like I'm moving in the right direction and I don't feel pressure. I've let go of the outcome. So, I mean, I think that would be ultimately like a really great place for you to be, is you're feeling like you're moving forward, but you're not feeling the pressure of moving forward. You're crystal clear on what it is you want to do. Now, here's the thing. If you're not crystal clear, that's fine too. Just pick one thing, right? Just take your best guess at what you think it is. And through the process of taking action, you're going to realize what it is that your ultimate definite purpose is. And if you don't know, you just guess and you move forward. So step one, define your purpose. Use the lottery tool. Ask yourself what you would do if you couldn't fail. These are tools that will help you define your purpose. And when you get clear on your purpose, you're going to get more energy. Simple. Step two would be you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. Okay. So, this is something that we've heard forever. And I know what everyone says or thinks subconsciously when they hear this is like, I don't have really super successful friends. I don't have friends that are making millions of dollars. I don't have friends that are in loving relationships. So in this scenario, what we ultimately want to do is to surround ourselves with people that are doing what we want to do, but it doesn't have to be actual live people. It can be from books. It can be from online courses. It could be from podcasts. This is what I do all the time. I'm dedicated, continuously learning at all times. And by aligning myself with the people that are doing the things that I want to do, I get inspired. I get motivated. I get energy. Okay. So this is what I'm doing on a daily basis. So you can surround yourself with these people, even though they're not actual physical people in your life. If you can find some physical people in your life, ooh, even better. Right. But if you can't, if you want to be Tony Robbins, and you can't get access to him one-on-one, then, read his book, listen to his podcast. These are the types of things you can do, and they're super motivating. And then that kind of leads into step 3, which is daily learning. So these two kind of go hand in hand, and just get committed to like a dedicated spiritual practice. So we'll call this one daily learning / spiritual practice. Okay. And you want to have some sort of spiritual practice in place at all times. This is like your foundation. This is what you build your house on, right? So when I'm on point and I'm nailing my foundation, and I'll just take you through what my foundation is quickly, is I wake up early every morning. I spend about 10 minutes reading A Course in Miracles. I spend 10 minutes doing the actual exercises of Course in Miracles. Then I'm reading. Right now I'm reading the Bible, which is very interesting, but difficult to read. So it's 10 minutes is max. And then I'm going downstairs into my basement, and I'm doing a little stretching movement routine. And then I'm usually exercising after that, either downstairs continued on my bike, or I'm going to the gym with my personal trainer. And this is my foundation. These are the things that I need to do. I'm also meditating. I don't know if I said that. Meditating in there. So these are like the 7 things that I need to do to make sure that I'm firing on all cylinders. And when I'm doing that, my energy levels are high. When I'm missing some of those, my energy levels are lower. So part of that foundation is daily learning, but just establishing what it is that you want to do every day. What is the foundation you want to build your house on? So even if your definite purpose shifts, your foundation can stay solid. And this will give you the energy to continue to pursue your definite purpose. Napoleon Hill, just to circle back to definite purpose, Napoleon Hill, who was kind of like the godfather of personal development, and he wrote the classic book, Think and Grow Rich. And he creates these 17 principles to achieve the life that you want to achieve. And principle number 1 is define your purpose. Okay. So, and I think principle 4 is create a mastermind group, which is having people to bounce your ideas off of. But this is essentially what you could do by reading books, listening to podcasts, average of 5 people kind of thing. Okay. So number 4 is identifying the roots of your lack of energy. And most of these roots are going to be centered around the area of self-doubt. So if you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe you can do it, if you're feeling unworthy, if you're feeling undeserving, these are all huge energy drains, right? This is when we slip into the grips of apathy and shame, when we're feeling sorry for ourselves. So learning to identify, first of all, when we are falling into the collapse of self-doubt, where we just don't think we can do it. We don't think we have the know-how. I'm trying to think of some other language that people in self-doubt have. And when I say people, I was there. I was in the place of self-doubt for a long time, where I was constantly questioning. That would be another thing. You're constantly questioning, okay? In self-doubt, you're all constantly asking for other people's opinions. You're not clear on your direction. You're not clear on your abilities. You don't have the confidence. Okay, this is somebody that's in self-doubt. So how do you become free of it? Right? That's the number one. It's like you want to become free of that self-doubt, because self-doubt is draining. It is literally draining. Okay, so the first way you can start to become free of self-doubt is to recognize that you're in self-doubt. Awareness, right? Recognize when you're questioning everything that you're doing. Recognizing when you're constantly seeking approval from others to try and get the confirmation that you're on the right path. Recognizing when you're playing victim, when you're feeling like the world's against you, and bring awareness to it. If you just do that, you're already on the path to transcending it. The second thing is to allow yourself to feel it, release it, let it go. Tune into the feeling of doubt, how it feels to doubt yourself, to not feel confident, and allow yourself to feel it fully. You could also try and identify where this began in your life. It could be from failing a test. It could be from mom or dad telling you you're not good enough. Literally, the list goes on and on. But if you could identify where it began in your life, allow yourself to tune into that moment and how you felt as a kid in that moment, and allow yourself to truly, fully feel that emotion, you could become free of it, or at least you could let some of it go. If your self-doubt's at a level 10, and through this process of just tuning into the emotion, you bring it down to a 7, wow, that's like a really, really amazing result, right? Because a person of level of self-doubt 10 is like can barely get out of bed. A person of level of self-doubt 7 is actually starting to take some action. Okay, so and then the next step, which leads to step 3 of how to become free of self-doubt, but is also step 5 on my list, is to take action. And I know this sounds counterintuitive. It's like first you need the energy and then you can get into action. If you don't have the energy, you can't get into action. I know I've been there. I've waited for the motivation for years to come to accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish. But what I've found is that motivation is fleeting. It comes in this wave and we're like, oh my God, we're all excited and we're pumped. And then it dies. As soon as we hit one roadblock, that self-doubt overtakes us again. Our energy gets drained. All the wind is out of our sails. And we're back being stuck in the same old rut. So how do we create motivation? How do we keep the energy? Like we've all felt the energy of like real motivation. Like, you usually see this around the new year is when the gyms are packed and you're like, this is it. This is my year. This is the year I'm going to do it. In the first 4 or 5 weeks, or maybe not even, you're killing it. You're eating healthy. You're going to bed early. You're waking up early. You're doing the workouts. You're eating the protein shakes. And then one thing happens, one thing of stress, one moment of self-doubt, and it all comes crashing down, right? And then we go back down that same slippery slope. So the key to keeping that motivation is to staying consistent with action. All right. So daily consistent action. I have a client of mine right now. We're both writing books and we've made the commitment to each other to write our books each 5 minutes a day. So what we're finding over the course of the last week is that the more we write, the more we want to write, the better we become at writing. We're creating our motivation. Right? The other thing that happens when we get into action is the how to do anything is revealed by taking action. So if you don't know how, and this is like someone that's in self-doubt, that doesn't have belief in themselves, the big excuse that I always hear is, I don't know how, I don't know where to start, right? Well, the answer to that is you just start. It doesn't matter where you start, you just start. And if you can stay consistent with starting or with doing some sort of daily action, it does not have to be huge, right? It can be very small. My client and I are only writing 5 minutes a day, but guess what? After writing 5 minutes a day, now we're writing 10 minutes a day. Sometimes we still only do write 5 minutes a day, but sometimes we're writing 20 minutes. And that consistent daily action is key. you could probably add into action, and you can add accountability. And I'm just writing this down so I can make it a part of my course or something one day, because this is good stuff. So if you were able to get accountable, if you and a friend get on track and say, hey, let's keep each other accountable to go to the gym for the next month straight. And, if you don't go to the gym, you got to put $5 in the pot or whatever it is. It's some sort of accountability, or get a coach that's going to keep you accountable, and don't overdo it. This was a pattern of mine for a long time. It was like I would go. I'd be doing everything. I would start working out 2 days a week. I'd be eating like so clean. I'd be, working, and then all of a sudden I would come crashing down. So we want to just have small little daily actions. So if you want to write a book, if you wrote a page a day for a year, you got a novel, right? If you want to get into shape, if you go to the gym, a half hour a day, or just move every single day, you're probably going to lose weight, because the action is going to create the confidence. The action is going to create the motivation. Let's not wait for the motivation to come by watching an inspirational movie or for a calendar date. Let's create that motivation by taking daily action. So these are the 5 tips. So let me just review them. Define your purpose. Figure out what it is you want to do. Use the tools that I described. You're the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. So surround yourself with people that you want to be like, even if they're not physical people. Daily learning. A spiritual practice. So daily learning is daily reading for me. Audiobooks have been the greatest thing that I've ever done. So listening to an audiobook daily is huge, and that just reminded me actually that me and one of my clients, we've kept each other accountable that we're both going to read at least 10 minutes a day. So it just reminds me, like this morning, usually when I have I usually have my audiobook when I'm on my way to the office, but I didn't have it turned on. And now as I'm thinking, I'm like, oh geez, I got to do my daily reading. So now I know when I'm driving home, I better have that audiobook on. Right? So I'm staying accountable, but some sort of spiritual practice, create a foundation that you can build your house on. Self-doubt is the energy killer. And understanding that you're in self-doubt is first learning to let go of it, identify where it began in your life. And then the third way, the third way to become free of self-doubt is by taking action. That's also the 5th step, action. And then I added accountability on there, right? The big thing I want you to take away from this is stop looking for your energy out there, right? Sleep is important. Yeah, diet is important. Yeah, not drinking caffeine is important. These are all things that, I could do a whole entire another podcast on the physical element of having energy. But ultimately, our energy comes from within. And let me give you an example of energy coming from within. So so someone's running a marathon, right? The first marathon they've ever run. And this is my own personal example. They're just dying last kilometer, right? They're dying, no energy. The body is done, barely can walk, right? But then as they get into the last kilometer and the crowds start growing and they start seeing their friends and their family cheering them on, all of a sudden they find this like last, kilometer sprint, and they gun it to the finish line. It's like, well, where did that energy come from? It didn't come from eating a goo pack or drinking water or having a coffee. It came from within. So we can all tap into this energy. It is continuously shining from within, but we just have to learn how to remove all of the things that are preventing that light from shining out and getting us the energy that we need, right? So these tips should help you. These are like spiritual tips on how to create more energy as opposed to physical tips. And I'm sure there's a ton of great physical tips as well, like great sleep, no caffeine. Caffeine actually does the opposite that we want it to do. It actually makes us more tired. There's tons of research you can Google on that. And then physical exercise obviously is going to increase energy. Getting outside is going to increase energy. These are all great tips, but we're talking about what you can do at a spiritual level. And these 5 tips will really help you increase your energy. So like, listen, this is what I want from my podcast is like, I don't want you to listen to this podcast. Like pick one of these things and just go and do it today. Define your purpose. What is it you want to do? Listen to an audiobook. Pick someone you want to be like. Daily learning. Download the app Audible. Start listening to books. Do a brain dump on why you have self-doubt. What's a brain dump? Just take a pen and a blank piece of paper and write out every reason why you think you have self-doubt, and don't stop for like 5 minutes until the page is full. Just let the brain, let all the thoughts associated with self-doubt and not being good enough just float onto paper so you can create the awareness necessary. Take action. Make a commitment today to start tomorrow, to write 5 pages every day, to do 10 push-ups. I don't know, whatever it is for you. Okay. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Tune in every single Wednesday. I release a new podcast. It's just full of great content. So if you haven't already, just make sure you click that subscribe button and share it with a friend if you think it's going to help them as well, because these are kind of unorthodox tools to increase your energy. Thanks for taking time to listen, and we'll see you again next Wednesday.